Hello, I'm Chris of Hitlist Video, and today we're talking about Bathtub Shark Attack. I've never been much into the shark subgenre. I've enjoyed Jaws, and I do love creature features like Gremlins, Aliens, and the creature from the Black Lagoon. Tremors is a personal favorite of mine. I love that creature feature. Those graboids are like my big shark. I've watched the Tremors movies countless times. I wanted to watch Bathtub Shark Attack because the trailer looked fun and full of practical effects. I met the film's director, Madeline Deering, during the filming of Heavy Duty Man. Heavy Duty Man is a film produced by Cinephoto and Hitlist Video. Bathtub Shark Attack begins in a bar, with our bartender and their bar back. You might recognize them as Tim Gross and Drew Madver. Tim is the founder of Grossfest. Grossfest is a one-day horror convention in the Pittsburgh area. Grossfest features lots of independent filmmakers and their films. Drew is an actor who's been in numerous movies, such as Pool Party Massacre, Xmas, and Slasherette Party. Now, Drew is our bar back. He goes outside and finds some old VHS tapes out in the trash, including a copy of Bathtub Shark Attack. Our bartender Tim tells us that the movie was shot in Splashovision. It's a feature that encourages the use of small water pistols against the viewers every time a shark icon appears on the screen. I actually think this feature could kind of be fun, maybe use some small water pistols in the living room, or if you're watching the movie outside with some large water guns. Once our bar back and the bartender start watching the VHS tape, we see a Bathtub Shark Attack. The movie starts with a lady running a bath in her bathroom. Her name is Grace, and this tub has a bunch of cute little rubber duckies floating in it. And when the bath is ready, the synth music gets louder and louder. Kind of reminds me of how the da-da, da-da, and the shark brings itself through the drainage pipe into the tub. We see the duckies get taken out Jaws style before the bloodbath begins. The shark attack is excessive and bloody, and I was laughing the entire time. Afterward, we're introduced to Chad and Cindy. They're a couple hanging out at a different bar. The couple doesn't seem to like each other very much, and they blame the other for their homelessness situation. When Chad goes off to
drain the main vein, if you know what I'm saying.
He finds this flyer with a killer deal in the bathroom. The flyer is advertising a fully furnished apartment for just $100 a week. Matt Cannon's musical score during this moment is just delightful. We're introduced to a series of characters at the apartment building. We got a group of tenants planning a party, Bill the handyman, and Selena the landlord. Selena is played by horror legend Lynn Lowry. Selena shows the couple around the building, and Cindy is just in love with the apartment. She wants to move in immediately, as she digs the tub and the vibe of the apartment. Chad, on the other hand, he's a little more skeptical and rather would just keep crashing on their friends' couches for a while. They decide to move into the apartment building and just give it a try because they're paying week to week. Once they move into the apartment, Chad tries to get intimate with Cindy, but is shot down quickly. This seems to be a consistent situation for Chad throughout the entire film. Chad will flirt poorly, and then Cindy is not interested. Cindy is saved by a knock on the door this time, and we're introduced to Selena's daughter Jessica, who's played by Carly Sonnefeld. Jessica wanted to meet the new neighbors and deliver a homemade pie. We get some awkward silence as Chad doesn't seem to trust Jessica or her pie. Jessica seems nice, and Cindy is excited to make a new friend. Next is Crazy Clark, another resident in the apartment building. Clark is drinking and visibly mourning. Clark reaches out for this framed picture of a young boy named Andy, who we later learn is his deceased son. Andy's represented by a picture of a young Charlie Skinner. Charlie is a well-known producer within the indie horror community. Clark's death scene is just hilarious. The shark is pretending to be Andy, luring Clark into the dark basement. The shark is asking Daddy to save him, going, "Save me, Daddy, save me!" And when Andy speaks, the washing machine moves about like it has a mouth. And Clark, not wanting to disappoint his son a second time, decides to bring his son's favorite toy with him, a stuffed shark. You might recognize this shark as Brutus, the companion of the director. The apartment shark grabs Clark by the head and only leaves his shoes behind, spraying blood and just having a fun time. The prop head is delicious. Mwah! At this point, though, we have some scenes between Jessica, Cindy, and Chad, and Cindy and Jessica's connection seems to be getting stronger, while Cindy and Chad's relationship further deteriorates. Handyman Bill delivers some exposition for Chad. The fellas discuss Grace's death and how both gals seem to have this awkward obsession for baths. Now, while Chad and Bill play Scooby-Doo, the party tenants upstairs are getting their groove on with video games, TV, and music. The scene features some fun kills and special effects that I won't touch on here, but I want to mention that as a board game guy, I really liked the mousetrap reference. Cindy decides she wants to take another bath, but unfortunately the bathtub is clogged. Oh no! So she decides to call in Handyman Bill. But unfortunately for Handyman Bill, he gets attacked by this bathtub shark. We never see a body, and he's assumed dead. There's blood everywhere, and when Cindy comes in, she assumes he's dead as well. But since the tub works, she She might as well take a bath before calling the cops. Once Cindy starts taking that bath, something sexual begins between her and the shark, and I wasn't expecting it. Neither was Cindy, nor was Chad. Chad walks in and is freaking the fuck out. He sees blood everywhere and his gal's moaning for the first time. Chad vents his frustrations about the relationship and wonders if Cindy has some sort of blood kink because he looks around the bathroom in shock and horror and thinks, man, maybe this is why she doesn't sleep with me. To his credit, he seemed like he wanted to understand and help Cindy compared to getting angry. However, in that moment where Cindy and Chad are trying to figure out their relationship, the blood, the tub, and everything that's going on, the tub shark comes and bites Chad's head off. Cindy faints, and when she comes to, she's probably in a situation she was not expecting to happen. She's in a dark basement, surrounded by cultists wearing pajama shark onesies. The cultists reveal that they worship an ancient shark god known as Dakuwaku. The shark god lives in the apartment as well. Dakuwaku wants to mate with Cindy as she is his preferred vessel. I suppose this shark wants to spread into more pipes. Cindy and Dakuwaku have this very uncomfortable but somewhat comedic encounter. Eventually, Handyman Bill returns with a plunger as his new hand, and he seems ready to kick ass, take names, and save the gal. What follows are some cool kills and special effects. I think I'm going to leave it there and help save the ending as a surprise. We close the film out with a very twisted ending that I wasn't expecting, and I kind of want to help preserve that for anyone who decides to watch the movie at home. I'm going to list my opinions about the film with some pros and cons, and then give you my final thoughts afterwards. Bathtub Shark Attack has many wild and memorable moments, and it's hard to list them all, but I do believe Matt Cannon's musical score was essential to set the mood for this film. I also hope any DVD special features discuss how shooting for video could have influenced their editing process and the special effects. The audio was a lot better than I was expecting. The quality was really good. I'd be curious to learn what Madeline and her team did to record their audio. The special effects for the kills and the puppets didn't disappoint. My favorite death scenes were tied between the tub with the rubber duckies and the washing machine with the shark voiceover. I felt most of the characters were memorable in some way. The basement showdown between Handyman Bill and the cultist was excellent. I was laughing at all the corny one-liners, thinking that these characters had seen way too many action flicks. I do wish the basement scenes had a bit more lighting because it was difficult to see the action and facial expressions at times. I enjoyed watching the family dynamic between Lynn Lowry and Carly Sonnenfeld. I thought these ladies had great chemistry together. They seemed like a believable mother-daughter pairing. Chad and Cindy were not the most likable couple in the world, and I'm certain their dynamic on film was on purpose. I was actually rooting for Jessica and Cindy to get together until the film's big reveal. I felt Chad's ending monologue was his redeeming moment in the relationship. Chad was rude and crude, but that speech left me reconsidering my opinion of him. The editing process had some rough cuts that I didn't think flowed together. However, those edits could be connected to shooting on actual video, which I bet in this day and age is pretty rough and expensive to do. The film did have some creative moments in the edit that I really enjoyed. The use of fake commercials as scene transitions, I thought really helped flush out the film's world. I liked the two shark puppets. The puppets had this creative charm to them. I would describe them as a handheld shark and a full-bodied shark. The full-bodied shark had this look that, well, to be lack of a better word, covered in poo, while the handheld shark had a much cleaner appearance. One of my favorite shark moments is when the full-bodied shark grew limbs. I'd be curious if those extra limbs were some sort of nod to the thing. I wish the puppets had looked a little bit more like each other for consistency. For a while I thought we actually had more than one shark in the building. However, I realized they were the same shark when I heard them having the same voice. I wasn't a big fan of the shark sex scene in the basement. Now, to be fair, I support make-believe violence, and I usually don't even think twice about it. Blood, guts, boobs, have fun, you know? However, scenes that lack consent between two or more parties make it a little harder for me to recommend because I don't want people to have a bad experience or get triggered in some way, and that would just be unfortunate. I believe the scene is meant to be funny, and Cindy's cracking jokes during this experience. She's talking about the shark's Little Mermaid, so I didn't sense any malice in the scene. This shark scene did give me an idea. If I feel a review needs any sort of disclaimer, I can do that within the review. I'll also link a credible nonprofit agency within the description of the video connected to the warning. In this case, I'll post a link to RAIN for possible donations. RAIN is a nonprofit charity that helps sexual abuse survivors and sexual assault survivors. They're the biggest organization in America that focuses on this cause. Bathtub Shark Attack is likely the most absurd film I've ever watched. The film had me guessing throughout the 95-minute runtime what crazy things were coming next. The film comes across purposely cheap and cheesy, and I love that. It is part of its charm. While I was viewing Bathtub Shark Attack, I felt like a kid getting away with some old school trauma flicks that I shouldn't be watching. Bathtub Shark Attack gave me lots of nostalgia even though I'm not big into shark films. I was never bored and I was often giggling at the absurdity on screen. I would expect it's pretty hard to come up with an original shark film, and Madeline and her team did it. I expect if we searched the internet, we'd find hundreds, maybe even thousands of shark movies. But I figure there's only one shark movie out there that focuses on a shark god roaming an apartment building with its cult leader as the landlord. I'd recommend this film to anyone wanting to watch something that doesn't take itself too seriously. In my opinion, Bathtub Shark Attack wanted to make you laugh with friends while squirting some blood all over the place. I would suggest before plopping in Bathtub Shark Attack into a VCR or DVD player that explicit scene I mentioned earlier isn't something that's going to upset your friends or family. Overall, I had a great time watching this film. I want to see other movies by the director. I want to watch Spirit Animal. I want to see what's coming up next. I also want to see other shot-on-video films that have been made in the last couple years. I find it incredibly interesting to take the old medium and bring it into this newer generation. At the time of this recording, you can't stream or buy a copy of Bathtub Shark Attack yet. And if you're lucky, maybe you could find an original Indiegogo DVD on the secondary market. Madeline Deering was kind enough to send me a copy so I could do this review. When Bathtub Shark Attack goes to retail, I'll make sure to leave a link in the description below. With that said, I hope you've enjoyed this review of a gem you might not be able to get just yet. Have you seen this film at a screening or a premiere event? If you have, tell me about the experience in the comments below. And if you have any other shot-on-video films that were made in the last couple of years that you would recommend, I'd like to hear about them. With that said, take care and goodbye.